Mystery has always been an essential part of Call of Duty Zombies. From the first secret songs in World at War, to the narrative quests we see today, full of cinematics and boss fights, Treyarch has created a horde mode for the esoteric, with this hidden raid-like experience entrenched in the chaos of increasingly difficult Realms of the Undead. Be it for the challenge, the rewards, the lore, or the feeling of discovery, the mysteries of zombies, still fondly known as Easter eggs, keep fans coming back for more time and time again. For the uninitiated, a zombies map usually has a main quest, a multi-step Easter egg that is a map's primary mission outside the usual survival round-based gameplay. Smaller side Easter eggs supplement the main quest and tend to aid the player through extra perks, weapons and points. There's an art to creating a main quest that resonates with players. It has to have a clear start and end, something that wasn't always so obvious back in the day. And each step needs to balance storytelling, gameplay and difficulty.
Heartburn can strike any time, especially when stressed and eating on the go. So when it does, take Gaviscon strawberry flavour tablets. I'm going in.
There's no hard and fast rule when creating an Easter egg step. Anything is on the table. However, steps that are hard to find and easy to replicate are often well received by players. In other words, a step that increases the hunt by several hours, but isn't an utter chore to complete in subsequent playthroughs. Not every step can be like this though, as the quest would be too straightforward to dash through after first completion. The quest is like a recipe, there can't be too much sugar. That's why Treyarch uses multi-round steps, round gating, and one-shot steps that require the player to try again the next round if they fail. Some steps test the player's survivability, while others require puzzle-solving proficiency. There are also some that are better off unmentioned.
But you do know what happens when you mix acids and bases, right?
Of course I do.
One of my favourite examples of an Easter egg step is found in Black Ops 4's Blood of the Dead. Yes, you heard me right. Blood of the Dead. Blood is a controversial map, symptomatic of the issues that plagued Black Ops 4 Zombies from launch, and has some glaring flaws, but I can't help but find many reasons to love it. It oozes atmosphere and has some incredible character quotes. Alcatraz is just as interesting a setting the second time around. Given Blood's story implications, it was the most anticipated map for many. However, it ended up being the last of the launch maps to be solved. Not because of the unfortunate stability issues with Black Ops 4, although those didn't help. It was because the initial Easter egg step was a tremendous roadblock. The Warden's house, a new location previously inaccessible in Black Ops 2's Mob of the Dead, seemed relatively innocent apart from a suspicious room upstairs that was only viewable from outside. Players quickly found that obtaining the spoon and slashing the upstairs wall left scratch marks on it. The reason for this was unknown. It could easily have led to a side Easter egg, but is one of the most promising leads on a quest that hadn't progressed much at all during the first weekend of Black Ops 4. Progress was finally made on the 17th of October, when it was discovered that the wall could be broken by baiting Brutus into using his ground slam attack. This made the Warden's secret room accessible and kicked off the rest of the quest. The only problem was that Brutus didn't start using this attack until round 17. Round 17 for a first step seemed unforgiving even by Treyarch standards. Nevertheless, this was the boost Easter egg hunters needed, and the quest was first completed on the 18th of October, almost a week after Black Ops 4's release.
Alcatraz, wait a minute. Here it comes. Here's a picture of me on these steps. Look, that's me in Alcatraz. That means I'm like the daddy. That means I'm like the higher up you on the steps. The higher up you know, in the order of things.
There was more to the Warden's house step. A discovery on the 25th of October found that Brutus would use the slam attack on a successfully deployed monkey bomb. The 25th was an entire week after the main quest was solved, meaning the team that were first in the world didn't enter the Warden's room until round 17.
Another one spawned. Get up, get up, get up.
We have two natural Brutuses?
There we go. It's gonna wipe everything the second we get in here. I'm hitting F.
Alright, I'm gonna go save him.
It meant that everyone attempting to solve the quest was unnecessarily burning rounds and trying to solve steps well into the late 20s and 30s. Black Ops 4 Zombies was notoriously tricky at launch. This step made it even more of a challenge for players. Some thought it was a glitch or an exploit, but there was a side Easter egg in place that specifically rewarded players with a free monkey bomb. By getting specialist kills by the stone monkey bomb statue, players could pick up a monkey bomb in the spawn room and start the quest much earlier than round 17. This opened up new strategies. You could do the monkey bomb quest, hit the box and get lucky, or wait until round 17 if you were desperate for a challenge. It was only a matter of time until someone threw a monkey bomb near the scratch wall and discovered the secret method of opening the room before round 17. It worked out perfectly, perhaps even better than Treyarch had envisioned. The stakes were higher in the hunt because players had to be in their A game to complete the egg at such high rounds. When the secret of the monkey bomb was uncovered, it allowed players of all skill levels to jump in and start tackling the quest themselves. Putting the step under the magnifying glass, it was both hard to find and easy to replicate. It took players 5 days to enter the warden's room and an additional 8 to uncover the monkey bomb method. The monkey bomb method made the step much more manageable than when it was first discovered in round 17. What took the community 13 days to find can be followed by a new player in 10 to 15 minutes. Like many sequels, Blood of the Dead is trapped in the shadow of what came before. It's impossible to recapture the lightning in the bottle effect that Mob of the Dead had on zombies. Its main quest has a few taxing steps, but unlocking the warden's room is a massive highlight. Many of the steps of the quest are logical, even if it took a little while for us to find the logic.
A step in the quest where the community might solve it, but they don't necessarily understand how it works.
Yes.
Right.
And so we could go weeks without realizing how it works, but then if you have, the new director mode,
Or years. In the case of Blood of the Dead with the Morse code stuff.
yeah, I still can't believe that. For context, there's an in the main Blood of the Dead quest, there is a step with Morse code, but there was a part of the map that blinks the Morse code, but no one realized it for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, everyone just bash their head into the Morse code
What,
machine.
Miles?
Yeah.
You don't read Morse code?
Oh, not in a long time, to be honest, but...
You know? Zombies Quest will take you everywhere. They're very educational.
The margins between an excellent Easter egg step, a serviceable one, and what many consider a bad step are thin, but the potential payoff is massive. The gameplay needs to be engaging, and the difficulty needs to be challenging. The quest is a primary driver of a map's narrative, so the player's actions must impact the story. To borrow a tired analogy, Treyarch has to keep many different plates spinning simultaneously. It's no easy feat, but when all three come together in harmony, it's special. It's the reason why Drak is still so revered. You as the player feel responsible for launching the rockets at the moon, destroying Griffin Station and rescuing Dempsey, because of logical yet challenging steps that progress Primacy's mission.
Welcome to episode 3 of Talk Tuah. You don't smoke weed and you go see it there. Do you smoke weed?
The Warden's House step shows how effective a well thought out Easter egg step can be, but we can also learn from less successful Easter egg steps. It's no secret that many have missed the mark over the years. Black Ops 3's Revelations and Cold War's Forsaken both require players to retrieve 3 items, 3 audio reels in Revelations, and 3 parts for an Ethereum neutralizer in Forsaken. The rule of 3 often appears in Zombies. These aren't the only quests demanding players collect items to progress, but these 2 maps in particular are criticised for polar opposite reasons. Revelations was highly anticipated. The final Black Ops 3 main quest had an infamously long hunt that took players over a week to solve. The quest starts as Primus arrive at the house. The Shadow Man escapes from the summoning key and all hell breaks loose. After shooting the gravestones in the order that Primus' souls went into the summoning key, players collect 3 audio reels by doing the following. Reel 1, the Keeper Protector. One of the jump pads in the map has a triangle stone. When the jump pad is inactive, players must activate the Keeper Protector and crouch near the triangle stone so it can start chanting a ritual. After protecting the Keeper for some time, it will produce reel number 1. Reel 2, the Apothecon Holes. The giant Apothecon has 9 holes located around its insides. Players must throw an Arnie successfully into each of the holes. A Margwa spawns after players complete 3 holes, and killing the final Margwa reveals the reel. Reel 3, the Bone Step. Players must find 6 rocks hidden across the map. Shooting them reveals a bone that must be picked up via a shot of the upgraded Apothecon Servant. It's no wonder this Easter egg took so long for players to solve. It was purposefully obtuse, designed to stall players as much as possible. It nailed the hard to find criteria, perhaps to a fault. The steps are frustrating to repeat, especially on solo. The Keeper reel is finicky, the giant Apothecon reel is just a pain in the arse, and the Bone Step is a drag. I can see the intentions behind the Revelations egg. It was the finale of BO3's DLC season, with more eyes on the mode than ever before. Ending the season with a monstrous quest that rallies the community to solve it sounded great, but sadly it wasn't received that way. After jumping through so many hoops, the muted ending left players in disbelief.
Is that it?
Treyarch has suggested that it's moving away from steps like these in favour of more logical ones, and it's hard to disagree with the decision. While a long Easter egg hunt is part of the excitement of a new map, it's only half of the story. Replay value is essential, and the Revelations quest is a miserable experience to return to. It's a product of its time, and I'd like to see some elements of it return in the future, but things like the rock step should be put to rest. On the other end of the argument, we have Forsaken, the final map of Cold War. Omega and Requiem converge at Test Site Anna, hoping to rescue Zykov from the Dark Ether. Zykov is no longer there, and in his place is the Forsaken, a dangerous Dark Ether being. Samantha Maxis is on hand to battle the Forsaken, but in order to reach them, Requiem must construct an ethereal neutralization device. Part 1. Housing Unit. The housing unit is attached to the roof in the corner of a room in the bunker. Players must bait the abomination that spawns into charging the housing unit, which drops it onto the ground. Part 2. Monitoring Device. Electrocuting a zombie near a broken down arcade cabinet shocks it to life. Players can then access the cabinet and control an RCXD behind the TV shop's counter to blow the monitoring device into reach. Part 3. Fuel Tank. Obtaining the fuel tank is a lockdown step, activated by interacting with the fueling device. After holding the hordes off, the tank can be picked up. These steps are pretty standard in theory, not the most exciting, but nothing offensive. However, they are heavily signposted. The arcade cabinet and fuel processors have hold X to interact prompts, and members of Requiem chime in as steps are being completed, rather than after. Mix these things with Cold War's easier difficulty, and you can see why some aren't too fond of Cold War and its quests. It may seem trivial to an outsider, but it was a step too close to hand-holding for long-term Zombies players. There are some real issues with Cold War's quests, but I do still enjoy them. They're satisfying to replay, as the steps can be completed without much frustration, but it's a clear step down from previous entries regarding discovery and hunting. Small tweaks could have fixed this. For example, flipping a switch on the other side of the map to turn on the fuel processing system would have given the fuel tank step more bite and extended the time it took to discover it. So, we have two similar steps on paper with very different outcomes. One is obtuse to the point of frustration, and the other places too much emphasis on signposting players. Revelations is abstract and primarily focused on difficulty, which makes the narrative and gameplay messy. Considering the high stakes our characters were facing, the 3 audio reels focusing on Sophia's origins felt like a distraction more than anything. Forsaken neatly combines gameplay and story, but sacrifices difficulty and loses the cryptic nature players demand from a main Easter egg quest. I like both quests despite their shortcomings. If we were to put them on either side of a spectrum, the sweet spot for a perfect quest in my eyes is somewhere in the middle. Not every map should have Revelations logic, but a cryptic step or two keeps players on their toes, while Forsaken's focus on story and gameplay delivers a spectacular ending and a heavily replayable quest. It's different strokes for different folks. If you're more interested in a challenge and don't know Monty from Maxis, you're more likely to enjoy a quest like Revelations. If you want to experience a story from beginning to end, or are more of an all-rounder Zombies player, you may prefer a quest like Forsaken. Treyarch is aware of the criticisms of Cold War's quest, and has been for a while. It aims to correct them in Black Ops 6. There will be less signposting and hand-holding, trickier encounters, and the augment system is much more balanced than Cold War's tier upgrades.
Right, so for the main quest, right, we're gonna kind of go back to the Black Ops 3 style, where once you've hacked, no prompts, no key lines, you gotta start
good to me.
interacting with stuff. Now, obviously, we want to make things intuitive. We don't want, I'm like, nope, we're not shooting rocks over here.
Thank God. Please, never again.
But our hope is that really does extend the length of the hunts.
The return of Black Ops 3 style quests, while adding an optional directed mode for newcomers, seems to be the best of both worlds. Directed mode will ease players into completing a quest, slowing the gameplay down and focusing players on the golden path. A newcomer to the series will likely be overwhelmed by all the elements of Zombies. They can now learn the ins and outs, things we discovered naturally from playing for the past 15 years, without sacrificing the experience that we as Zombies veterans demand of the mode. There are so many intricacies to Zombies. It's better to let players experience them all with training wheels on than try to explain everything in page after page of tutorial, or make the base game easier at the expense of long-term players.
If I get bad at it, Tim, I'll wait for guided mode, which I'm very excited about. Guided mode to me is like exactly what I need in Call of Duty Zombies, right? Hey, I don't know the Easter eggs. I'm really bad at it. I'm just trying to fight for my life anyways. I'm all about the idea of like, hey, here's a guided mode. We're going to slow down the game. We're going to force you to do certain objectives to move on to the next round so you can get the most out of it and understand what's happening. I love that. I think that's cool.
Directed mode isn't something to be afraid of if you're a long-term Zombies fan. It will invite players into zombies and get a taste of some of the most exciting elements of the mode. So many people write zombies off as a simple horde mode, with no idea about the depth of Easter eggs. The more they discover the magic, the better. If we want zombies to continue to innovate, there needs to be a decent level of engagement. And despite Cold War's more casual approach to its quests, completion rates were still meagre.
I mean, I'm going off here. Are you able to share how small the percentage of people that do manage to finish the zombie story is? Because I would imagine it's an amazing thing for you guys to be able to say, we've put in this huge amount of work, now go experience it. It must be really fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what we're hoping. It's hard to get, because it's so situational based on the map. But I think it was like 5% on Team Machine.
Wow.
Wow. And that's a launch map as well.
Yeah.
I wish numbers and money didn't matter so that Treyarch could develop the mode specifically for the hardcore contingent, but the reality is that Zombies is part of Call of Duty, one of the most recognisable and profitable gaming franchises of all time, and that franchise is a very different beast than it was 10 years ago. Despite this, developers and fans are still passionate about the mode. I'm not here out of necessity or blind loyalty. I'm here because I still get a rush playing Zombies like I did all those years ago after completing the World at War campaign and discovering Nakter and Totem. Will Black Ops 6 Zombies be perfect? No. No Zombies mode is. Even Black Ops 3, which many of us consider as our favourite, had low moments during its life cycle, and to this day, there are things I'd change about it.
Damn it, Rich Oven!
Talent moves on. It's a natural part of game dev, especially on a AAA series like Call of Duty. Many developers who worked on our favourite maps are still at Treyarch. Some have been since World at War. The current Zombies team is a healthy mix of veterans, experienced developers who joined around the time of Black Ops 4, and a new generation of talent who grew up playing Zombies and are ready to make their mark with new ideas. There's always a chance we're headed towards a Black Ops 4-sized iceberg, but I'm confident in Black Ops 6. Despite some minor gripes, I've seen enough to know I'll enjoy it, and I can see the potential if the Zombies team is given the time and resources for substantial post-launch support. If you're sceptical, hopefully they can win you over through updates and new maps. As frustrating as some of the aspects of live service Zombies can be, it does enable developers to quickly address balancing issues, patch exploits, and improve overall quality of life.
It's very anti-authority. It's very rock and roll. It's highly energized, highly motivated.
It's because that's like at the heart of this mode. It's almost like counterculture to COD, where it's like we get to put things in that you would never see in or think that would be in Call of Duty.
Stuff you're just not expecting.
Yeah.
Zombies has always had an air of punk about it. What started as a small tower defense-like side project has evolved into an experience like no other, thanks to its character, replay value, and love for secrecy. Despite corporate meddling, it still pushes Call of Duty to be more than just a derivative military shooter. There are no rules. Over the years, hundreds of different Easter eggs have spawned out of the creative wellspring of Zombies, like fighting a dragon in Stalingrad, summoning a moondog, or becoming a spider. From epic main quests to the downright bizarre, all are part of what makes Zombies unique. All hidden in the depths of a mode that should never have existed, yet refuses to die. A mode that is the antithesis of the Call of Duty franchise. A stellar combination of a first-person shooter horde mode and an offbeat 90s adventure game, with the deep lore and serialisation of a comic book saga. Often imitated, never emulated. And to think all of this started by shooting a radio and flushing a toilet. Zombies is at its best when it's conjuring up mystery through its scattered parts, secret weapons, and hidden locations. Drawing the player in with the suspicion that there's more to a map than meets the eye. There has to be one more thing to discover. One last secret left unfound. It's been over 15 years of mystery and intrigue, and the bottom of the rabbit hole is still not in sight. Maybe it never ends, stretching on endlessly, destined to lose its secrets to time, dead-ended. As long as there are hidden miracles, we'll go deeper still. Zombies may die, but the mode lives on.